The other day I woke up and looked out the window and saw this incredible morning sky, and I thought to myself, boy, that would make a great picture. Well, by the time I went outside, the sky had changed. The picture was gone. Well, our first story tonight by Patrick Murphy is about a man who, unlike most of the rest of us, doesn't just say, that would make a great picture. He actually does something about it.
All you're doing in photography is you're walking around the world with a rectangle. It's where you put the camera. And it's exactly what height, it's exactly what, how far away you are, how close you are. It's where it's pointed is what counts. It's what's in that frame. It's taken me 36 years to figure out where exactly to put that frame.
Since 1972, photographer Michael Eastman has earned an international reputation, showing us the world through rectangles. Whether his topic is Cuba, Europe, Forest Park, horses, or images from a vanishing America, he interprets the external world in his own distinct way.
He's made a point of seeing an image differently than most other photographers that I know. And by saying that, what I mean is that he has a vision that captures that moment. It captures the evidence of that moment and leaves you with this feeling of solitude, of loneliness, of happiness. There are quite a few here that there's an element of mystery. You're not really sure what happened. You're not sure what's going to happen. You're kind of left in this limbo that's pretty wonderful in a way.
You don't simply look at a Michael Eastman photograph, you inhabit it. You sense that something has just happened or is about to happen, and you want to be there for it. There is an interesting relationship between reality and imagination in his photos, perhaps because he shows us not just how places look, but how they feel.
To me, these are like, when the lights turn up at a play and there's a stage and it's right there and nobody's on it yet. That's in a lot of ways the way these feel. Like, somebody's about to enter stage right or left.
Michael's an artist, and what he sees in a photograph and what we normally see are two different things. And so he is actually looking at a doorway or a theater, and in his mind, he's seeing a texture, he's seeing a particular color, and when he photographs the piece, that's his intention. Something happens and it brings that color and that texture and that angle out, and it becomes dominant. And when you glance away from the photograph and then come back, it seems like it's changed in that period of time.
Color is really what my photographs are primarily about. It's the first thing I see that I'm attracted to. Since the last few years I've been photographing with printing digitally, so I have the opportunity to make that red wall any color I want, or that blue green. I can change that. It's a very powerful tool, and one that has a lot of responsibility, I think. I don't change them. I try to print them the way I remember them, but I remember romantically.
He can get the clouds up above, sort of looking down or weighing down on a piece of helpless ground. I mean, they're wonderful.
I think that's what my job is, as a photographer, is to teach somehow the viewer not only to see my work, but to see the world differently. My highest compliment I ever get is when somebody says to me, hey, I thought about you the other day, Eastman. I said, I was walking down the street and I looked at a wall and I thought, Eastman would have shot that. And what greater compliment can an artist get than to change the way somebody saw the world just a little? I mean, that's a ton.
Though Eastman's photographs of places communicate a quiet intensity, his portraits of horses are equally dynamic, revealing in frozen instances the strength, nobility, and freedom of these amazing animals, and the majesty of the American West.
So when he has a wonderful photograph of a whole number of horses running toward the viewer, it would be easy just to get that as a shot from a Western, but that's just a picture. Then to have the thing transformed into a work of art where the horse now is also sort of coming apart and being put back together again in terms of color, of texture. The look of the horse, the stance, the tension in the muscles, all related to other things, to the sky, to clouds, to dust.
There is more to Eastman's photographs, or perhaps any photograph, than simply capturing what's in front of it, because the camera changes images.
They get transformed because they're flat, two-dimensional. They get transformed because there's a box that you're looking through as opposed to your peripheral vision. They get transformed in terms of what lens you have, if it's a wide angle or telephoto. So in all kinds of ways, your perception of reality is different than the way a camera actually records it. And learning that difference is really what makes is what photography knowledge is about.
By experimenting with photographic techniques, Eastman delivers startling effects. In a series of black and white studies of cactus, he and his assistant, Lila Bartko, mix their own chemicals, which are more sensitive to detail and produce richer contrasts. Many of Eastman's photographs are very large. By combining 21st century technology with the 19th century medium, he creates poster-sized negatives.
So a lot of your work is done on computer.
Yeah, I print everything now in Photoshop in the computer as opposed to the way I used to in the darkroom. This image, for instance, I'm going to all it needs is a little bit of darkening, and I want to convert it to make it a negative, and all I do is invert it, and there's my negative. The computer gives me so much more control. I can almost paint the negative. I can completely control what's light, what's dark, just the way I did in a conventional darkroom, but a lot more control.
Then by printing the image on a piece of clear acetate, he has his supersized negative. But for all of his experimentation and the evolution of his craft, a retrospective look at the past 35 years reveals a surprising continuity in his work and his vision of the world.
Now, this is a photograph I made in probably 75, 76. And on some level, looking back at the old work, you realize that there are these threads that go all the way through my life as in photography. This one is no different than this one, which was made, sort of 30 years later. Same almost idea. I always thought of photography as like juggling. You start with one ball and you try to keep it going, and then you try to go to 2, 3, and hopefully you get a bunch in the air. And that's what art's like. You start off with a simple idea, and then you spend your whole life trying to make it a little bit more significant, more complicated, more layered, more ideas, better.